push to bring more housing to Thunder Bay. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Mayor Ken Boshkoff announced today that more housing incentives are on the way. A planning report will be presented to City Council on Monday night with 3 different matters to be approved. Neb Van Pelt joins us in studio. And Neb, what is being proposed to Council?
Riley, city staff and the mayor are asking Council to approve their official plan amendment to designate the entire city as a whole as a community improvement project area. That would increase the funding for the Strategic Core Area Grant from $100,000 to $300,000, and they also recommend adopting a housing community improvement plan. After receiving a $20.7 million share of the Federal Housing Accelerator Fund in February, the city continues to look for ways to improve their housing plan. A report will be presented to Council on Monday, with the main purpose of the program being to create additional units and increase residential density.
So these are programs, incentives that the regular homeowner would be able to apply for, providing in the neighborhood of up to $30,000 to add additional units within the home, and incentives available to developers that are interested in, let's say, reaching top density that's permitted within the zone.
As Thunder Bay continues to grow, the city's success with the Housing Accelerator program will be measured by the number of brand new units that are being created.
It's really important that we do that, and we want to do it right. We want to do it by increasing density within existing serviced areas. And we believe that that will benefit the existing residents of the city and those to come. So we know that we have a lot of opportunity to grow and to grow more.
In regards to funding, there is currently $2.23 million available for the Housing Community Improvement Plans grant programs.
This is going to be broken down in the Housing Accelerator Fund into 2 primary streams. So you can think about this in terms of you're going to be applying with the goal of doing one of 2 things. You're either going to be wanting to build a multi-unit residential building, or you're going to want to be building a additional dwelling unit.
Mayor Ken Boshkoff says the mayor's task force has had a great response from the construction industry, as well as on the demand side.
The municipality, our planning department, and the task force are putting more on the table, making it easier to people to get part of the program. And as the uptake has been great, we want to ensure that that momentum keeps on going.
The report will be presented to Council this Monday. Neb Van Pelt, TBT News.
Meanwhile, Thunder Bay Superior North MP Patty Hydew has announced a new federal plan to help low to medium income households to retrofit their homes under the Canada Green Building Strategy. Budget 2024 commits over $900 million towards helping people with items like windows, more efficient furnaces, and better insulation. The federal government already had a plan of this nature in place. However, many low-income households could not take advantage of it because they were required to pay up front and wait for reimbursement. Hydew explained this new program will not require any payment.
Low and medium income families will be able to apply online to have a third-party operator come in and do those services, no charges up front to the family, and all the retrofits will be conducted at no cost to the household. And we're hoping to be able to launch that portal by the spring of next year.
According to Hydew, the program will also be available to renters and landlords. However, some of those details are still being worked out. A public safety alert issued earlier today by Lac Seul Police and OPP has been lifted. Residents around Kijek Bay had been required to shelter in place due to reports about an individual who was at large in the community with a possible firearm earlier this morning. An extensive search was carried out involving Lac Seul Police, OPP Emergency Response, and K-9 units. Police apprehended the individual without any harm to the public or law enforcement. The turmoil in Thunder Bay's youth hockey community continues to escalate. Nebbing Minor Hockey has been expelled from the Lakehead Minor Hockey League after a unanimous vote this week by other league members and executives. The decision impacts Nebbing players aged 9 to 12. Joel Mendelson reports.
The rift first became apparent in May, when the 5 teams in Port Arthur Minor Hockey agreed to merge with 4 other local hockey associations, but Nebbing was left on the outside looking in. Now, the Lakehead Minor Hockey League has posted a letter on social media outlining the reasons for expelling Nebbing Minor Hockey from league play for the U11 and U13 teams. The letter alleges financial issues, a lack of transparency, and a dwindling number of players registering with Nebbing. LMHL President Joe Compon declined a TV interview, saying the contents of the letter says it all, Nebbing president Don Nadon also declined an interview, but in a letter posted on Facebook, he calls the decision heartless and disappointing. He also refutes many of the claims by Lakehead Minor Hockey and hopes that the league will reconsider its decision. LMHL says players registered to Nebbing can request a transfer to a different organization, and they say Nebbing is welcome to reapply after addressing its issues and making the required changes. Joel Mendelson, TBT News.
The LCBO strike is now nearly 2 weeks old. The union and LCBO leadership resumed bargaining yesterday for the first time since job action was launched. The union claims the Ford government is pushing more product into grocery and convenience stores, putting jobs and provincial revenue at risk. CTV's Beth McDonnell brings us more.
OPSU, the union representing LCBO workers, and the LCBO are continuing their talks right now inside the Sheraton Hotel after getting back to the table yesterday. Meanwhile, over in Whitby, there's a picket line, and outside the LCBO's distribution center, picketers appear to be delaying shipments. Earlier, a line of trucks could be seen stopped. At one point, picketers move, and a long hauler is able to get through. We have seen similar action at licensing facilities, one in Mississauga yesterday. And we are nearing the 2-week mark of this strike. We're seeing some store shelves now that are looking pretty empty, and some bars are having trouble with their stock. A recent Leger poll found that 32% of respondents are now looking for alcohol elsewhere, with 49% of respondents saying they support the union's goal, and 29% saying they want the government to intervene immediately. We don't know how long these talks are continuing, if there is good news, but we are standing by, and the union says if there is an update, we will be notified immediately.
Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
A Dryden High School graduate has just won an international prom dress competition. This online contest was a little different, however, as all dress submissions had to be made completely out of duct tape. 18-year-old Monica Walsh says she couldn't believe she actually won.
My mouth dropped immediately and I covered it. It's so exciting.
Walsh worked on her prom dress for well over 100 hours, utilizing 13 rolls of duct tape. It was all in an effort to win a scholarship from the contest on the website stuckatprom.com. Over 100 contestants entered, and Walsh made the top 5. Online voting ended on July 10th, and Walsh just found out yesterday that she's taking home the $15,000 U.S. grand prize. Here's what she's planning to use the scholarship money for.
Pay for university.
What program are you going to go into?
Teaching chemistry, concurrent education in chemistry.
Is that kind of something you've always wanted to do?
I never kind of knew what I wanted to do. I think it's something I'm interested in, and I want to do it now, obviously. But my career path bounced around.
Walsh is expressing thanks to her friends and family, as well as the support from the public, for voting for her each and every day throughout the duration of the contest. An Atikokan singer is getting ready to head back to California to continue his run at one of the world's largest talent competitions. 20-year-old Alex Sampson wowed the judges on the July 9th episode of America's Got Talent. He's now moved on to the live performance rounds, which start on August 13th. Justin Hardy has more.
So crazy. It's such a fun experience. It was very nerve-wracking. Biggest stage, biggest audience I've ever performed on and in front of, so it's just, I have really no words for it.
Alex Sampson was back home in Atikokan after his thrilling debut in America's Got Talent.
Kiss me now, drive me wild.
Sampson impressed the judges during his first round audition with an original song that unfortunately was not written for Sofia Vergara.
Not for me?
This is not for
Why
you.
Why not? Maybe next time, if I make it through.
Sampson's Pretty Baby had a retro vibe that Simon Cowell said could have been written in the 50s or 60s. Howie Mandel said that Sampson's voice brought something to America's Got Talent that he doesn't think exists right now. All 4 judges loved Sampson's performance and unanimously voted to send him to the next round.
I'm going to say yes.
Howie!
Yes.
Heidi!
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah!
America's Got Talent touts itself as the biggest stage in the world and is filmed at the Pasadena Civic Auditorium in California. With an auditorium capacity of nearly 3,000, Samson says it's the biggest crowd he's ever played in front of.
Wild, man. I mean, like I said, biggest amount of people. I think there was 3,000 to 4,000 people in that audience, and the max I've ever performed in front of was like 150. So it was a big jump. There was probably more people in there than my hometown, which is wild. But no, it was so crazy. I mean, they call it the biggest stage in the world, and it really felt like it was the biggest stage in the world. I felt like everybody was looking at me. It was crazy.
Samson has had an affinity for music all his life, but seriously began pursuing music when he was a teenager. His father, Darren Samson, says it was amazing to see his son's dreams coming true.
I shared in it, actually supporting him ever since he was little. I used to sing to him before he was born. So in the shower growing up, we'd be singing. In the car, we'd be singing, listening to music, on the computer all the time. So it's just always been a part of us. Like, music is, this town too, there's so many people in this town that love music. And so it's people jamming and singing. It's always been a part of who Alex is.
Alex will be going back to California to compete in the live shows, which start on August 13th. He might not have a song done in time for Sofia Vergara, but his fans can keep an eye on his social media for other upcoming projects. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
The Festival of India and Festival of Colors are coming up this weekend. It's the 15th year for the Indian cultural celebrations, and the organizers are marking the occasion with a few new additions to the events. This year's Festival of India will feature an elaborate 18-foot tall chariot with singers and dancers joining the parade. Special chefs are coming in for the occasion, along with a visiting Swami monk. And new dance workshops have been added to the Festival of Colors. Longtime organizer Prashant Dejani says the festival has grown by leaps and bounds, with 60 attendees in their first year to about 7,000 last year.
Very, very excited and very, very thankful and very, very grateful to all the community. We never thought this will ever happen, but it is still happening. So some magic is there in the community of Thunder Bay. I remember when in 2005 I came, if I used to see any Asian person, not Indian, Asian, I used to invite him at home and say, okay, come for the dinner. Now you see them everywhere. So community has grown considerably.
The Festival of India is happening on Saturday and the Festival of Colors on Sunday. Both events run from 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Marina Park. Entrance for the Festival of India is free. For the Festival of Colors, tickets are available at festivalofcolors.ca. Oh, and I've always wanted to go to the Festival of Colors. I made it to the Festival of India before, but I've never made it to the Festival of Colors, so I might just have to check that out.
You want to wear light colored clothes that you don't mind getting a little dirty. I guess you could call it dirty. Yeah. And bring a towel for inside your car, otherwise you're going to have colored powder.
Perfect, I will keep that in mind.
And things are actually looking pretty good for those days. Today, it wasn't a bad day. We had a high of, well, that's not right. It was warmer than 20. It was a high of 26 today with increasing clouds in the afternoon. If we take a look at where we're at right now, we've got loads of sunshine to the west in Fort Frances. Greenstone had sunshine, then a little bit of cloud. Now they're back to sun. Increasing cloud in Red Lake and Sault Ste. Marie. We'll call it partly sunny for most of the day. Temperature-wise, it's definitely cooler along the North Shore, 19 in Marathon, 17 in Wawa, and Sault Ste. Marie is almost near its high for the day. They topped out at 21. They're currently sitting at 20. As they head up into Armstrong and Greenstone, it's a little warmer, a little more seasonal, but it was a much drier heat, and the humidex not really a factor. It isn't until you head further west into Sioux Lookout, Dryden, Kenora, Red Lake, Fort Frances, that the humidex starts to kick in, and it makes it feel about 3 degrees or so warmer than these numbers would suggest. So that ever-present humidex is always a factor at this time of year. Now, here in the city of Thunder Bay tonight, just a few clouds will drop down to a low of 10, and winds will be quite light from the west all night, about 10 kilometers per hour. And as we head into the weekend, It's going to be a very warm and a very sunny end of the work week. But when we hit Saturday and Sunday, there is a slight risk of showers, but the temperatures are increasing for much of it. The humidex is going to kick in, and it's going to feel a lot warmer than the numbers that you will see on the 5-day forecast for the weekend. But don't panic with the events for the weekend with that risk of showers, because there's still going to be plenty of sunshine as well. And I think with a little bit of heat, even if there is a sprinkle or two, might not necessarily be a bad thing if you are outside dancing at the Festival of India. So I definitely want to encourage everybody to head out to any outdoor events this weekend, because slight risk of rain shouldn't damper anybody's spirits.
No, absolutely. Sometimes it's a little like reprieve from there. Just get a little like, oh, it's like a mist almost, that's all. Yeah, that's what we'll call it. Thank you so much, Fiona. Well, when we come back, a high-profile resignation sparks questions to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. We'll have more on that as your Thursday News Hour continues.
Ultimately, my family comes first. I need to be a better husband, son, uncle, and friend.